Hey guys, Rascal here, and welcome to another Rascal Reviews. And once more, I'm covering another underrated and not well-known piece of literature. This time, I'm covering a manga called Goldfish. Now, Goldfish was released back in 2020 and finished about, I believe, 2021. There are only 3 volumes to this story, and it was actually a German manga. And this was done to promote, according to Disney, to promote international manga creators. So they decided to try to have more stories and manga made outside of America and outside of Japan. So they have ones from Germany, from Poland, from Mexico, from Ireland, and other places. So that way they could see how manga is made around the world. Which is not a bad idea, and that's pretty cool that they decided to do that. And another thing I also decided to point out is that they are all written by women. If that is a good thing or bad thing, you have to decide that. I think it's a little odd they're all women and not a mixture, but hey, maybe because they don't have a lot of attention, they decided to give them some spotlight and try to help out other creators. Now, Goldfish is supposed to be the story of a boy who ends up getting the Midas, I think it's called Midas, hopefully I am pronouncing that correctly, the Midas Touch from a magic bottle. And the bottle's supposed to give him whatever he desires. But when he drinks it, he gets the Midas Touch and everything he touches turns to gold. Which at first sounds like a great thing. But as you know, the original story, things don't go as planned. And in here, he accidentally turns his brother into gold when he touches him. And he's looking for a cure for it so he could turn his brother back to being unpetrified. And the world that's kind of set up is that he's in this kind of, sort of, it's not modern day, it's not the future, it's not really the past. It's sort of like an undisclosed time period. And the entire theme is sort of underwater, swamp, bayou, living like a town on top of a river. That's kind of the theme that they're going for here, and it looks like they're also living in or near a jungle. And he goes on an adventure with 2 other characters in an attempt to find a cure for the gold so he can turn his brother back to human. And he has a little animal psychic named Ota, the otter. Yeah, that's really what they went with. And the whole story just comprised of him finding a cure for the gold touch. And it actually was not bad, at least for the first volume. It was something different. I had never heard that concept before. There are a couple things that it's clear that it borrows from in the beginning, but it was actually a pretty good idea and something creative. However, it gets to volume 2 and then to volume 3. It does have a happy ending, but it kind of wavers on its tone and on its story. It kind of loses focus and tries to focus on too many different things. And one part of it is that the creator of the manga, I think her name was Nana Ya. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. And apparently the story was meant in her mind to be a multi-chapter story, kind of like a regular manga, or like chapters you would see online. However, Disney only ordered 3 volumes through TokyoPop, and that is the distributor of these types of mangas along with Disney mangas as well. And because it was sort of cut short, a lot of things were cut out. Ideas she had, worlds she wanted to go to, but they were cut short to cram it into 3 volumes. So it is possible that it was affected by time constraints and having to cut down the story and rush it. It's because it's clearly indicated that in all 3 volumes there's so much more that she wanted to tell. There's a lot of different ideas that kind of go in and out. Great humor in here. Actually, a lot of the dialogue is pretty funny. And there's a lot of times where it looks like you really be going somewhere. But it kind of stops doing that and just has to hurry up and finish the story. And in the final volume, they tell you the entire backstory of how the Midas Touch was made, how he got it, who was the villain looking for it, why they wanted it, they want to take over the world, their ulterior motives. One bad guy has a redemption arc, kind of, sort of. And they kind of rush all the things you would see in an anime or read in a manga and just kind of do it all at once. And it's a little much. It's a little it's kind of like overstimulating. That there's just so many things going on at once that you might get a little lost on it. Now for the artwork isn't really bad. There's a lot of time when they go chibi within the manga, and it's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The artwork, I think, for it, if it was in color, I think it would benefit it much more because it actually looked pretty good. The artwork was really well done. It's really colorful, and I think the first one, the cover of the first volume was the best one because it really kind of captures what it's about. It captures the feel, and it really tells the story before you open it. And it really takes inspiration from One Piece, My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen. One of the characters has the same powers as Fushiguro, Full Metal Alchemist, apparently Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I really wasn't seeing it because they're apparently referencing April's old outfit, but it was in black and white, so I couldn't tell that's what they were doing. And quite a few other things in there. And again, it really wasn't bad. It just looked like it needed more time to develop and more time to establish more characters, because they do establish everybody in here pretty fast. And I did like one of the characters. One of them actually had some pretty cool powers when he was introduced in the beginning. But to me, it seemed like as he was going along further into the story, he didn't seem as cool anymore. And I didn't know if that was to show that he was putting on a face to look cool or to seem distant because he thought that made himself look better, or the writer just decided to change his personality later, because he pretty much was my favorite character in there, and then they changed him towards the end, and then it kind of made him a whole different character. And I'm sorry I'm not naming everybody in here. The names, unfortunately, are not memorable. I mean, I don't have the book in my hands anymore because I actually got them from my local library. They had all 3 volumes. And unfortunately, their names were not stand out like someone like Edward Elric or Izuku Midoriya or Yuji Todori. They weren't having any names out there that were stand out. And their designs, while they were pretty fun, they didn't really stand out either. You could tell there was influence from other animes and books, but no one really stood out to be the point where, hey, I know that's that character from this manga. Unfortunately, it just didn't have that particular appeal. But, however, I do give her praise for coming up with an original story and something that she likes. Like I said, you will enjoy the artwork if it's in color. That's pretty much the best thing to look at in there when it's in color. And when you're reading it, I think you'll probably get a lot of fun out of it because there are some pretty hilarious lines. There's some interesting ideas going in here and how she sets up this world of Bayou people, because there's really no way to call it. That's pretty much how it's set up. You might end up having a favorite character or not anymore if you get to the end. The only thing that was kind of not working for me is that at the end she was trying to do like a combination of the movies and the mangakas. Mangakas like to put little messages sometimes after different chapters or at the end of a volume. And movie producers like to show you behind the scenes things of how they made these things happen and what was the mental strategy for them or the creative focus to make these movies or to write these characters. Well, here she kind of does both. She writes like she's in the mangaka, but she says everything like she's telling you about a movie. And there are a lot of times in there where it just drags on and on and on. And there's like text all over the pages during the concept art, during the story of how the manga was made, how it was translated, how it was written, how they're designed. Every single piece of art has a comment by it saying she likes this one, doesn't like this one, and this and that. Comment about their backstory, how they were inspired, and this and that. It was just way too much to do. Unless you own it and you want to take your time and read through everything, I don't think you would want to sit through that because it seemed like it was a little bit much. And granted, she may have been really excited to share all these characters, and that's perfectly fine. But I do wish that she had done it in a way where it feels like, hey, you get some comments here and there, and there were things she felt was important, and not just everything that came to mind. And apparently, at one point, there was supposed to be an anime adaptation for Goldfish, but nothing seemed to come of it. So either Goldfish was not popular enough to get a go at the the anime adaptation, or if they just decided to change their minds and not do one at all since it really wasn't talked about. But there is a chance it could be made later with the big anime and manga boom and things from years ago getting adaptations like with Demon Slayer. So it is very possible that this will see the light of day again, whether as resurgence with the manga and re-release or with an anime adaptation. So if you have heard of or read Goldfish, let me know what you think in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Or did you think it was okay? Let me know, and I'll tell you some more of my thoughts within your comments as well. I definitely want to hear what you have to say about this pretty interesting subject for a manga. And thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate you watching and subscribing and commenting, and I'll see you all next time. Later.